Okay, so it's been a bit since my last review video, and I'm here doing another prediction. So why don't we real quick just cover the episodes I've missed, and then we can get to what we're actually talking about. Okay. Excalibur vs. Raiden is a bonus episode that's just dumb fun incarnate, 8 out of 10. James Bond vs. John Wick is a good episode that made me want to check out the John Wick movies, 9 out of 10. Black Adam vs. Apocalypse is like top 10 in terms of Marvel vs. DC. And that really includes Adam punching the best, Biff Weed out of 10. Trunks vs. Silver is the best out of these 4, with a track that I am going to play right now for the duration of this video, 9.5 out of 10. Look, see, that was quick. Now to what we're actually talking about, the next episode of Death Battle. Or at least, the episode coming after the next one. Now, I'm sure everyone is aware, but in case you don't, the next episode is going to be coming out on Halloween. And if you don't know, Halloween is my birthday. So with that, I'm going to make quite the bold move. I'm going to predict this year's Halloween episode. Will I get it wrong? Most likely. Do I care? Hell no! It's my goddamn birthday gift. I'm taking whatever I can get. Although, before I get to the actual predicting part, this background doesn't fit at all. This requires some changing. Let me just, let's see. No, not that one, not that one. Aha, that one. Perfect! Okay, now we can get started. Just like that review patch, I'm just gonna quickly cover 2 matchups that I've talked about before. Ruby vs. Maka and Cole vs. Alex. To make the long story short, Ruby vs. Maka is my #1 most wanted, and Cole vs. Alex is a highly requested episode that has yet to happen. That honestly should. Now with those 2 out of the way, we can now cover new material. Starting off with Arcquaid from Melty Blood versus Morgan from Darkstalkers. It would be fun to not only have Melty Blood on the show, but also bring back Darkstalkers again. Cause seriously, did you know how long it took for fucking John Talbane to get in here? Took years, and I am not waiting that long again. But this season is more or less trying to cover new ground. Some new franchises. Series that we haven't seen before. In this case, Outnum from Melty Blood versus Oleander from Damn's Fighting Herds. Now hear me out. I like this one. If you need connections, they basically boil down to purple anti-heroes in fighting games that have a demonic partner. Doesn't make that lot of sense, but I don't know, I like it. And hey, they've covered partner matchups before in the form of Ratchet and Clank vs. Jack and Daxter, and Venom vs. Krona. So I don't see any reason why they wouldn't do this. It brings in 2 new franchises, 2 new underrated franchises that honestly need more love than they should. And to be frank, this honestly could be one of my most wanted. Top 3 in fact. And as one final extra bonus, this is the matchup that I've commissioned Brandon Yates to do a score for. So if that does well, who knows, maybe this could actually be a possibility, and I would be all down for that. If you haven't checked out Melty Blood or Them's Fighting Herds, check them out. Underrated as all hell. Okay, I'm done fanboying. Now let's actually get back on track. If there is a franchise that I think should appear in Death Battle sometime soon, it should be Hunter x Hunter. Yes, I say the X. Deal with it. And I'd say the best way to introduce the series is to do Meruem vs. Cars from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Now, one would ask the very obvious question. Would they bring back JoJo for a second time this season? Well, we've had Dragon Ball twice in the form of Vegeta and Xenoverse Trunks, so Cars isn't too much out of the picture. It brings in a brand new series, it brings in a new part of JoJo, and hey, it's the battle of 2 ultimate life forms. It's not like we've had that before. Nope. Not at all. Speaking of matchups that haven't happened a lot, Street Fighter vs. Mortal Kombat. We've had like, what, 3 or 4 or 5 last time I checked? Yeah, not a lot considering it's a very popular matchup. So let's do Jury vs. Melina. While I think it lacks in connections, it could definitely work with some good animation potential. And hey, it's a free Jury W. Something I know a very certain someone will be very happy about. and a group of people that wouldn't. Yeah, but screw it. I live for the chaos. Now before into what I like to call the terrifying trio, let's talk about one more matchup. Ceres Victoria from Hellsing versus Jill Valentine from Resident Evil. Now I'm sure they have other options, but I think pitting these two against each other would be the most fun. Especially with more Hellsing love and Resident Evil definitely desperately needing to come back. Yeah, basically every franchise before Season 6 needs to come back in some shape or form. Now we can get to the fun part of this discussion. Oh yeah, the terrifying trio. Starting with Rachel Alucard from BlazBlue versus Romelia Scarlet from Toho. As everyone knows, I desperately want BlazBlue to come back. And since the next episode is going to be on Halloween, this is the perfect matchup to do it, if not the other two. Brings in a returning franchise in BlazBlue with Rachel, brings in a brand new series in Toho with Romelia, and it's another vampire battle. Who wouldn't like that? Now, if we don't get Rachel versus Romelia, Pennywise from It versus Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street is definitely a good second. It's a very popular matchup, and if done right, could pretty much be this year's equivalent to Madara versus Aizen. Just the sheer fear that these two can bring would definitely make for a fun fight. But out of all of those matchups that I've brought up, none could ever match Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th versus Michael Myers from Halloween. This matchup alone screams Halloween episode, and it would be the perfect time to do it this year. Not just for the matchup alone, but for the fact that we're getting another Halloween movie. Promoting this would be the perfect way to do this matchup. It brings in two new franchises in both Friday the 13th and Halloween. It's a highly requested matchup. It's the perfect promotion for the brand new Halloween movie, and it's a Halloween episode. All of that combined makes me convinced that this is going to be the Halloween episode, and I will honestly be damned if it isn't. And that's pretty much it. These 10 matchups are the episodes that I'll be calling that will be the Halloween episode this year. If you were to ask me on it, I think Elton vs. Oleander is the least likely, due to how fairly unknown these two characters are. However, something like Pennywise versus Freddy Krueger and Jason versus Michael are pretty much guaranteed at this point. But I say Jason versus Michael is much more likely to happen than Pennywise versus Freddy Krueger in my opinion. And that's pretty much the video. Any predictions on what you may have? Leave them in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next time.
And